Yes, I think I can record now. It's recording as well. Okay, that's great. So yes, in our yesterday session, whatever we discussed and what is the agenda of today, that is we're gonna talk in very beginning about basics of in Python loops, functions. Okay, so this is the basic thing. Uh, Mr. Adarija Chakrabarti, I have just told you this is what we have done. This is what the keys to values and values to keys. So similarly, let's suppose you have multiple values. Let's suppose you have multiple values, comma, so many values. So you will access like this only. Okay, I've just told you with one example. Did you understood, Mr. Chakrabarti? Okay, thank you. So okay, you just joined, I think, so that's why you missed. So this is what we have done in our assignment. So if you want to, write, I'll do copy and paste all of you. You can actually, use it. So let's talk about our today's agenda. As I said, we'll start with the basics of loops and functions. We talk about Numpy, data science library is called Numpy. So Numpy, and we also try to cover today visualization library. So this is the agenda of our today's session. Let's see how much we will achieve. So I think we should let's start. So first of all, when we talk about loops in Python or anywhere, how we will define loops. So if anyone would like to say something about loops, what do you mean by loops? So I hope you understood what is loop basically. That is, loops is being used whenever we actually require loops in language for, when you have used to use a repetitive statement. Okay, let's suppose you need to do the same task, and if you want to use for a repetitive statement, that time we use loops in languages. And loops in here in languages, even though in Python, is right now we have these three different types of loops, that is while loop, for loop, and nested loop. When I say while loop is being used for repeats a statement or a group of statement while a given condition is true. It also tests the condition before executing the loop body. Okay, so while loop is being used for when you have a repetitive statement. When we talk about for loops is generally being used for, when you have to print a sequential statement. Okay, when you have a statement that need to be print in a sequence, and abbreviative the code manage the loop variable is called for loop. So I'll show you the example and then you will able to understand. Similarly, when I say nested loop is just nothing more than loop inside another loop. Okay, so this is what about loop. Now let's program so that you will understand more. Okay, so how while loop actually work. For this I'm gonna do one thing. I'll just going to tell you how you can actually work with loops. So this is a while loop basically. Mm, uh, okay, one thing what I have done here is I have taken a variable that is called count. Okay, count is assigned with a value that is called 0. Means what I want to print a number that start from 0 and will end till 9. Okay, so it will end on 9. So this is what I am looking for to print in a sequence. Okay, so here I gonna use while loop. So how the constructor of while loop actually look like, that is you need to print while, and in while there will be some statement. So statement here is if the count is smaller than 9. Okay, then this single colon, this is a constructor. You should always remember how to write loop in Python with the help of this constructor here, that is called colon. And then when you see, whenever we print any statement in Python, it's generally use indentation. What is indentation basically? See, if in other languages, when we have to write any kind of function, we enclose with brackets. Okay, so that we can write anything inside this. But in loop, in this in this Python programming language, we use indentation. Okay, so here when I print, that is print will print the count is count. And what is count? Count will is equal to count plus 1. So what's going to happen, it is executing for a statement, a repetitive statement. How it will repetitive statement will work, that I'll show you here. What's going to happen when I print this, what happened, it first print count is 0, because right now the value, initial value of count is 0. Then it print count is 1. Then it print count is 2. How it is doing, it's having a syntax, it's having a variable that is adding 1 just after one statement done. So until unless the condition does not become false, it will execute accordingly. Okay, so this is called count plus 1, count plus 2, count plus 3, like this. So 1 plus 1 equal to 2, 2 plus 1 equal to 3, like this, and it will go till it is not equal to 9. So it will go just below like this. So did you understood this while loop? Can you type Y in the comment box if you understood? Okay. I need a confirmation from all of you. Thank you. Similarly, we can actually print in a reverse order, that I start from 10 and the count should go like till, let's say the count will start from 10. Okay. Oh, sorry, it should start from here, and okay, so start from 10, will end on 1. Okay, till go this point. So this is how actually we can actually go through with it. Now this is your while loop. Now how we print for loop. Okay, always remember, as for loop is being used for sequential printing or statement. So what I'm trying to tell you is, what we mean by sequential printing. Let's suppose you have a word that is called that is called L, in which I have assigned a syntax that is called Dipesh, my name. Okay, I want to print in a sequential format. So the constructor of for loop is like this. So I'm going to assign a variable that is called for I in L. Okay, print I. You'll do something, you'll see something, that what I have taken a variable called L, and for loop is being used for sequential printing. I have defined a variable that is called I. So for loop, whatever there is in L, it will convert into a sequential statement in I, and when I print I, it will print that D E E P E S H is that printed into sequential statement. Or let's suppose it's a list. It's a list. Inside this there are so many names. Okay, like okay, so when I print like this, it will print something that is the page you have like this, means it will print into a sequential statement. So did you understood this? Hello, I'll show you
No,
something.
sir. No, sir.
Yes,
For I in L, that I can't understand.
you didn't understand. See, what we are doing is, for I means I is a variable, means see what the work of loop for loop is, what the work of for loop is. Whenever you have to print, let's suppose you want to print here, called whatever the number you have, so it has to be in print into a sequential statement. I mean, this list will print into a sequence. जैसे कि दीपेश है, ये element है, ये element है, so it will print into a sequence. Okay, so that's why I've taken a variable called I can take J, L, M, and any variable. It's just a variable. Okay, so it will put this into inside this, and it will print like this. Understood?
Yes, sir.
समझ में आया या just आपने yes sir बोल दिया? I can also explain you again. If you didn't understand, I'll explain you again. Okay, I hope you understood, then it's okay. Well, one more thing we can do that. Let's suppose I want to print J0, means J0 is Deepesh. So it will print, sorry, okay, it will take all the first element. J0 means like J1, J0 means J0 is, sorry, not J0, print, let's say, J0 is what? Every element, first element it has printed means J is in a loop. When I print J, it is printing Deepesh, user FWI. So I am printing 0 means first element of each section means DUF. Understood? Can you give me a quick confirmation if you understood this when I print 0? Okay. One thing you can actually also understand. Let's suppose, like here I'm taking L0. Okay, L0, and when I print J, so L0 is Deepesh. Okay, L0 is Deepesh. Okay, similarly, if I print here one more loop, let's say, is this Deepesh should print in a one line. I want to print the whole Deepesh like D space E ऐसे करके. So what I'm gonna do that there is a function called and and function. What I want is it, now you can see that when I print and, it will not print any statement into next line. It will just print just after it, and I have given a space. So how much space I want to give after this, it will print into this much. Or let's suppose if I want to give here anything inside it, so you can see that every time it will put some order inside this. Did you understand what and is doing for us? Okay, great. Okay, so uh, now similarly, let's suppose you have there is a function called range. Okay, what is the range function is, I'll tell you. Let's suppose in a list, first I'll tell you what is range function. So L is list range of, I'm converting this range into a list. So a range is 0 comma 10. Okay, when I print this L, you will see that when I print a range of 0 comma 10, it print a list of, because I have converted into list. It's given me, it started from 0 and till before 10. Okay, matlab range function is something that can give you a range or a sequential statement, okay, of a numerical order. And this is a start point, this is the end point, and it will print just before your end point. Now let's suppose if I give a space, so first element is a start point, second element is a stop point, means just before this. And let's suppose if I want to give a space between them, that's a space of two elements. So you can see that it will start from 0, will come on after 2 space, then 4, 6 and 8. Okay, because it has to print till 9, because whenever give the last element, it will just print before it. So it has printed till this one. So did you understood what the range function do basically? Okay, great. Now let's suppose I want to print this range with loop I in range of 0 comma 10. Okay, and I print here I. You can see this, it started 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So it's started printing like this. Okay, so it will print something in this manner way. So of course, so we're gonna do one thing then. Once we have done with this, let's suppose, Now I'm gonna tell you one thing. Okay, now there is a task to all of you. I want you to print a table of two or any table. Let's say you have to take input from the user, and you should print a table like this: 2 multiply 1 is equal to 2, 2 multiply 2 is equal to 4, and it should go till like 2 2 multiply 10 is 20. So similarly you have to print a whole table. Can you do this? Okay, let's try, and put your answer in the comment box. That's absolutely right. So you have to do like this. Okay, it will go till there. All you understood this? How to do that? Good. Now let me tell you quickly how we can actually work with called so this one right now I'm telling you is called nested loop. Nested loop, what I'm doing is I have initiated a range of 0 comma 6. Okay, for I in range 0 comma 6, for j in range. So one range is called I and second range is called j. So this is called nested loop because when one loop run inside another loop, that is called nested loop. Okay, so for I in range 0 comma 6 means when you print I 0 comma 6, it will print 1 2 3 4 5. Start from 0 and will till end before. Okay, 0 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, now the range j is like it will go into a horizontal order. Okay, sorry, it will go into a transverse because the it will directly print 1 2 3 4 5. Now it is has to print in a horizontal manner. So one, And the first one is it will go like, I'll show you, when I don't print end, it will run like this. Means 1 2 2 3 3 3 4 4 4 4 5 5 5 5 5. Okay, so I am doing one thing, I gonna do end, so whole thing will print just after. What's this? So did you understood this nested loop? Yes, great. So this is what about loops. One more thing I'll tell you, break and continue statement with this one. So did you understood this one? I just gonna send you the program. Those who find any difficulty. So this is your range of loop. Now I'll tell you one thing. There is one statement called break and continue statement in loops. So as you can see that here I have initiated for letter in Python, means it's a for loop. So break statement do what? Let's suppose in between if letter comes called H. So H is on uh, 0, 1, 2, 3, third position. Okay, so whenever when H will start, first it will print P, Y, T, and then if it's saying if letter is H, it will break from there. You can see this when it will print the letter is P, Y, T, and when H come, it will break from there. Okay, it will not print. Okay, similarly in while loop, I also did if the variable called 5, it will break from there. So it will print 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and then it will break for 5. So did you understand break statement? Hello? No. Why, Archana? I again repeat. Basically, break statement is uh, see when you are trying to print a statement or when you're trying to do something execution. I want to put a condition. I want to put a condition that let's suppose if this condition having this particular element, I want to stop this loop at that same point of time. Okay, I don't want to run this loop from there. Okay, let's suppose if you are deploying function in your system, that if the system does got any bug, and the bug name is let's suppose xyz. Okay, so the program will stop at this point of time, at the same point of time. Okay, so that's why we are using here break statement. So here you can see that for letter in Python, see it's what is this Python. You can also put this Python into in a variable and also can put this, or like I similarly did this here when I was showing you this thing called this one. So similarly it will break from there. Okay, so if letter is equal to H, it will break from there and then print only the initial element whenever it is the value you have. I understood this. Okay, so great. Now, this is a break statement. Similarly, there is a continue statement. So continue is basically, I gonna do one thing. I'll just copy and paste here. Both you can do that. So let's suppose in continue statement, when you use continue instead of break, it will just not use that particular word. Like there is no H, rest all the word is there. There is no 5, rest all the word is there. So this is called continue statement. You also understood continue, break and continue. Yes, good, great. Now, no, ma'am Rajalakshmi, this continue statement will not print that particular statement that is called H, whatever the condition is, if letter is equal to H, okay, it will not print H, it will print rest all of the element. Okay, Aniket, what is the issue of what is the use of colon? Sir, colon is used for indentation. Indentation. I'll show you. Let's suppose here is a condition. When I don't put here colon and when I run this, you will see it's an invalid syntax first of all. So this is just a syntax, or in condition it also, or let's suppose if I don't use array proper, okay, so it's expected a intended block, okay, so that we separate with this single column. When you press this and when you press enter, it will print on the position where it should be. Yes, bilkul. The output of break is here. When I use break, when I use break statement, it does not print h. Rest it print the previous element because it will break from h. Similarly, in while loop, it will not print 5 because I have put a condition if variable is equal to 5. So it will not print that particular element. Rest all the element has been printed. And similarly, in continuous statement, it does not print only h. It doesn't break. Okay. So this is the difference. Did you understood, Miss Adarija Chakrabarti? Thank you. So this is what about your loops, and I'm gonna do one thing. I'll tell you. Sorry, I'll tell you now. Functions. Yeah. So what is functions? First, we will discuss this function. Basically, functions in Python is being defined to whenever we require a functionality to be done. Like, what is function basically is, function is also called as a set of instruction. Okay. In other example, if I tell you what is set of instruction, let's suppose if I tell you sleep. So what do you mean by sleep? Sleep means you feel something called something in which you want to take rest, or it this word have some certain meaning. Okay, so every word do have some certain meaning. Okay, similarly in Python or any language, as you can see that when I print here 4, so what this 4 is doing, it is printing in a sequential statement. What does it mean? It is printing in a sequential statement. Or when I use a function called range, okay, so range is doing, it will print from initial statement till 10 elements. So every function do have some certain instruction inside it. Okay, and there are some certain function that is predefined, means like they have defined it, and few function that you have to define. You can also define your own function. That means, let's suppose you want to do some certain task by your own. So this task you can actually proceed accordingly by your own way. Okay, so how to define your own function in Python? For this we need to do one thing. Function blocks begin with the keyword called def. So with the definition def and function name with parenthesis, you can define your own function. Okay, with the parenthesis with def and with the statement you and parenthesis, you can define your own function. Okay, this is how we define our function. Now, any input parameter or argument should be placed within these parentheses. So any input parameter we have to place here only. Okay, and we can also define parameter inside these parentheses, and the first statement of our function can be optional statement. Now let's see how we can actually define our own function in Python with doing programming. So I'm gonna do one thing. here, let's suppose you have you know a data that is called def. Okay, you want to create a function that will do something like this. I name this param, and this my function is called add string. Okay, it will my name of my this function is called add string. Okay, so what this function will do, whenever you have any data inside your function, whenever anybody will add any kind of data, it will first print this. Let's suppose if anybody write anything inside this, it will print this, print a, and I can also define this should be a string data. Okay, inside this should be a string data. So it will uh, let's say I want to take this str. Okay, it will be a stra. Wait. Okay, automatically if you don't take input, so it will add here India. So whenever you have any element, any string, it will have to concatenate a word called India. Now let's suppose I have some data that is called h. In h you have a value that is called hello. Okay, so I will call this function that is called add string, and I will print this h. So when I gonna do this, you can see that in this h, h is hello, and when I use the function called add string, it will put here India and give you a new word that is called hello India. So did you understood how you can define a function in Python? All of you? Okay, great. So now we're gonna do one thing. Let's suppose you have I'm just going to create a new function. This function is something called def, and I call it called math. Okay, I name it math. This math having two elements called a comma b. Okay, now what gonna happen, this a comma b will be add. Okay, and I'll show you something, and then it will also print this, print d. So what it's doing, I have just created, and it will pit. I'm just doing a return condition. Return condition means it will go inside this function when I put this. Now I have run this. Now let's suppose I have a value call. I'm taking a value that is called int input, b is also int, and when I call math, that is called, let's name something different, b, sorry, h comma j, h comma j. So first it will ask me to add some variable, and I have just printed, and this return is a null statement, means it went in the statement. Now let's suppose if I put this return that is called, I would like to go to here called d. So you can see that it will print for two times. because one is print inside it and one is so first is print 13. Wait. Okay, it will print two times because first I have used a print statement that is called 13 and also return D. So even though if I don't use here print statement, now it will also print this. Okay, okay, 14. But if I don't use here anything, okay, so I hope you understood this what this return statement actually do. Okay, now let's suppose I have multiple statement. Okay, let's suppose I have a multiple statement. Now, what do you mean by multiple statement? Let's suppose there is called K, and K is A minus B. Now, how it's gonna work? Right now, I have used a statement called D. Mr. Chakrabarti, return statement is like pass by value and pass by reference. We can actually do by this way. So right now, I'm just passing a reference to where it will give me in this function. Let's suppose you are in a s- in a country. Okay, so in a country, if I directly call a country, it will put me in that particular country. But if I give you the country state name, it will send you directly to that country state name. Okay, did you understood this? Okay, so this is what it is. Now let's suppose now there is two address that is called D and K. Okay, now when there is a two statement, if I will make this to give me a return that is called 7 and 8, what it is doing, it is just adding till now. But if I put here called K, okay, now it's give me this called -1, and we can also call multiple statement K and D. So oh, okay, you got multiple statement. Then understood this? Okay, so this is what about function. Now there is a task that you all have to do this right now, and I give you enough time to do this. You have to create a calculator. Create a calculator, okay, in which you have so many function that is called add, okay, add, subtract, multiplication, division, you know, modulus. You can actually find multiple kind of stuff. You can do that. Now you will ask two input from user like A and B. Then you will ask choice, means what you want to do that, like you want to do addition, you want to do subtraction, you want to do division. Okay, so if you press and every you need to put a condition like 1 for addition, 2 for subtraction, 3 for division. Like this you can actually create like your statement. If you press any particular statement, so this gonna happen, so you will call that particular function. So did you understood the question? Hello? Okay, so now let's proceed. Any update? Oh, great. Great. Yes, you can do that. This is also one way where by which you can do that. And how I have done is by this way. Um, if you would like to understand, then I can tell you. What I have done is I have made a simple calculator by this way. That is called def add x comma y return x plus y. Okay, I have created all the functions multiply, divide, subtract, addition. Then I put a condition that is called select operation, means addition, subtract, multiply, divide. I have made a choice that is called choice is input, enter your choice 1, 2, 3, 4. I have made a condition that is called while true, means until unless it will run again and again for while loop. Okay, it will a condition that will run again and again until unless your statement does not become true. I have taken two number that is called number one, number two. So if choice is equal to one, print num1 plus num2, add num1 num2. Okay, num1 plus num2, add num1 num2. Okay, so num1 num2 is whatever the number it will show you, so it will be like this. So enter first number and then it will run accordingly. So this is how you can actually do that. And yes, so it will print like this break statement I've used. So all the way you can actually do this. There are so many ways you can actually create your own calculator. All you understood this? Yes, great. Let me send you this program to you guys. So I got to do one thing now. I hope you understood functions, loops, and all the basic stuff regarding Python language. Is that? So we are done with so many multiple other stuff. Now I would like to make you understand about NumPy. What is NumPy and how you can actually work with NumPy. Okay. So basically, I'll tell you one thing. Right now I told you the basic Python, and now why we have to understand the basics, because so that we can actually do the work with the libraries for data science. Okay, so first let me discuss you few things, then you will understand that. uh, basically. And yes, Mr. There is not new name embark. You didn't understand the function uh, calculator program. So in Python, basically there are so many different libraries for data science available, and these libraries help us to walk to enhance the data, and then you can do multiple stuff. So what you want to achieve to do with these libraries so that you can discover your data, can structure your data, can do data wrangling, you can clean your data, you can do enrichment of your data, you can do validate your data, and also can publish it somewhere. So for this we required data library, some certain libraries for this particular stuff. Now uh, there are so many different libraries in Python that we will have required for machine learning, data science, and analysis. The first one is called Numpy. So Numpy is introduced for object for multi-dimensional array and matrices. Well, what actually happened? Let's suppose you have any data. So data is what? Data is basically information. So information, when you create an information into a structured information, you want to perform some mathematical operation of it because you want to find out some statistics behind the data. And how you can actually find out the statistics behind the data, for this you should very much understand, like data is on some certain index. If you want to find some operation, you need to understand how your data is suitable for you. So even though when you talk about machine learning is more about mathematics, it's more about how you can actually program this stuff in a mathematical way. Okay, so because it's something, a relationship between the data we need to find out. For this there are so many mathematical operations we need to do that. The very first mathematical operation that you can understand, the data is in either in matrix form, it will be always into a matrix form. So the matrix form of data is you can understand that this matrix data uh, is on the basis of the position of your of the data. So that is why we require numpy. Numpy is numerical scientific calculation Python library that is for multi-dimensional array object, as well as that allow to easily perform advanced mathematical and statistical operation on those objects. It also provides vectorization of mathematical operation on array and matrices, which significantly improve the performance. Also, many other Python libraries are built on NumPy. So that is why NumPy is, that you need to understand for mathematical operation. Okay, so we'll see how we can actually work with NumPy. So, uh, shall we proceed for that? I'll do one thing. I'm audible to all of you. Let me check. Let's import our library that is called NumPy. So how we can actually import, that is by using import NumPy as NP. Okay. we import a library that is called import numpy as np. So what we are doing is our library that is called numpy, that is already installed in our system, okay, in this Jupyter notebook. And if you have to install in Jupyter notebook, so many libraries are already installed. And if additionally you want to install, there is a certain process by using pip install the name of the library in conda, or here when I anaconda prompt, when you print anaconda prompt, you can see this. When you print right now how many libraries are installed, it will show me that conda list. So these are the libraries already there in your anaconda. So you can see this. So these are the libraries that already installed mine system, in which there is a numpy must be there. Yeah, you can see that numpy is there. Okay, numpy is here. This numpy is available already. So that is why we can actually use it. Now close this. I've imported my library numpy and I named it called np. I have imported my library and then I rename it as np. So every time I don't need to use numpy. Otherwise I need to every time use numpy. Did you understood this? Yeah, good. So here I'm gonna do one thing. I will import, sorry, I will first create an array. I will create an array from two. Array is what? Array or array. When you have a multi-element inside an array, it became a matrix, as you know. So I'll create an array and I will convert as a matrix like this. So let's suppose you have A. In A, you have one list that is called 2, 3, 4. Okay. B, you have 4, 5, 6. Okay, and when I print here, let's say G is np, and I'm using a function called array, and I call a comma b. Okay, when I print here G, you can see that I have just printed an array, so it is in a form of a kind of matrix. You can see that. Understood? Hello. Great. So this is what we have just you know done with this one. And let me quickly tell you, let's suppose if you want to print in, let's suppose if I want to print in shape and size, let's suppose right now what is the shape of this array. So when I print here shape, I can use here np dot shape of my what, shape of mine, called G, and yes, np dot shape called G. When I print shape of my G, you can see that I got, that is a 2 by 3 matrix, means 2 rows and 3 columns. Okay, it having 2 rows and 3 columns. Is that, yes or not? It's a 2 rows and 3 columns. Now what you have to do, that let's create a matrix of uh, 3 comma 4, 3 rows and 4 columns. Create a matrix of 3 rows and 4 columns. So this, Why not walking on spider? It will work on spider as well. Mm, it's 4,5. Hello, anyone done? Okay. So similarly, as we find out the shape, you can also find out the size. Okay, size, like how many elements, total elements. Okay, So right now I'm trying to find out the, so you can see this, there are total 20 elements, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, and there are 4 5 4 is 20, so 20 elements inside this. Okay, now I'll show you something. Let's suppose right now in this one, here is shape. When I find out shape, the shape was somewhere 2 by 3. Okay, I can also reshape it. How I can reshape? I will type here np dot reshape. Okay, and right now the shape is 3 by 2. I can reshape into 3 comma 2. You can see that as, so the previous was somewhere 3 by 2, and I have reshaped into 2 by 3, and I have reshaped into 3 by 2. Did you understood this? Hello. Okay, now there is a task regarding this numpy. You have to do this. That is, what you're gonna do, that is, you will see, you can also print. First I'll tell you, if you want to more function that is called, let's say, if you want to print np dot zeros, let's say 3 comma 2. np dot zeros shape means, with the zeros you can, when np dot zeros, it can create a zero matrix. Okay, zero matrix by this way. Also you can also create a ones identity matrix as well as, but here is ones. So similarly, let's suppose you have h as per np dot ones, and 5 comma 6, sorry, 3 comma 3, print here h. You can also create. Okay, so what you have to do, that is, let's suppose you have to create a function uh, that will print a np.1 matrix. I type here, create function will print 6 comma 2 matrix of ones, and will reshape into 2 comma 6, and also find size. So this function should have these three capabilities. Understood? Hello? Hello? Okay, do this. Okay, so yes, this is how you can actually do this. Now let's talk further functions also, and the other function are like this, called info. So you have uh, let's suppose you have an array like this. Okay, here is your array. Now you want to make an addition of this two. Let's suppose right now you have just this. You are creating an array. This array do have an element like 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is your array. Now when you do want to do sum, so you will print here called print np dot sum of g. So it will give you a sum of this element. But let's suppose you have something, a two-dimensional array. So when you do a two-dimensional array, so also it give you the whole sum. But so np dot sum here. Let's suppose you want to do an axial sum. Means let's suppose this is print g. Okay, so when I want a sum like this, means on coordinate basis, let's suppose it should be if axis 0 means 2 plus 3, 3 plus 2, 4.2. So here, if I do an axial sum, okay, you will understand like this. If I do a sum in axis equal to 0, so the axis will be 558, means 2 plus 3, 3 plus 2, 4 plus 4. That is called 2 plus 3, 3 plus 2, 4 plus 4. So it's became 558. But if I do this like here, if I put axis equal to axis equal to 1, means it's became 2 plus 3 plus 4, 3 plus 2 plus 4. Understood? Axial sum also you understood this? Okay. See, what we have done is called, we are also done axial sum. Axial sum is like axis 0 and axis 1. Okay. If you remember in matrix, okay, let's suppose you have two different matrix, okay, and you want to do a sum of it. Okay, so how you actually do this? You do on two different bases, either on axis 0 and axis 1. Okay, so let's suppose if I do a sum of axis 0, so axis 0 means 2 plus 3, that is became 5, 3 plus 2 became 5, 4 plus 4 became 8, that is your axis 0. If you want to do a axis 1, so it will be like this: 2 plus 3 plus 4, that is called 9, 3 plus 2 plus 4, that's became 9. Understood? Great. So Here now, if this is just we have find out the sum. Okay, if you want to find out mean of this element, okay, so instead of this sum I can put here a function called mean. I'll put a function called mean. So instead of doing this, here we have find out a mean of whole element, that is called the mean of total, the mean by x is 0 and mean by x is 1. So you can also find out mean as well as. Understood? Great. So now once you understood um, this finding the mean, you can also find out median. Okay. So you can also find out median of the element. Okay. So we have find out some mean median. Okay. Also you can find out standard deviation. Standard deviation. So all the statistical stuff you can actually do. Okay. You can also find out standard deviation. Understood that? Hello? Great. So this is you can actually do this. Standard deviation we have done. Great. Now I'll tell you a few more function that is called, let's suppose you have a value like this. Inside this value you have 3 3 3 3 4 4 4 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay. So when you have these data, these stuff with you, you want to find out the unique elements out of it. So you will find out and p dot unique of L. So all the unique elements will print, means 3 is 2 times, even though it will print the all unique element 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay. Or if I want to find out the length of this unique element, like how many new elements are there, different types of element, so we can also put the different types of element. Okay, there are 10 elements unique. Understood? Great. Great. So I hope you understood the whole stuff regarding this numpy. I'm gonna do one thing. I will share you one document of numpy to all of you, and first I'll show you what this is all about, and then I'll share you. So this document is something like uh, yeah, so this is a numpy document in which all the related functions. See, we don't need to go through with each and every functions, but there are so many functions. Okay, I have told you the maximum element, maximum function that you required very frequently. So these are the function that you sometimes you need to go through with it. So this is the document I am going to share to all of you. Okay, so you can actually go through with it, and I'm sharing you here right now. Wait, let me check if I can. No, there is not option to share from here. I will do one thing, I'll put in the WhatsApp group, you can actually download from there. Okay, so meanwhile, I hope you understood this NumPy as well as. If all you understood NumPy, can you type Y in the comment box? Okay. So the next topic I am going to discuss is called Matplotlib. So I'll do one thing. Yes, Raj Lakshmi, tell me your doubts. Yes, Raj Lakshmi, ask your doubt. 6 into 2 matrix. Simple. See, there are so many way. Let me tell you one thing. There is a one function of similarly we have a range function. In NumPy there is also one called a range function. So first I'll tell you what is this and range a range function, that is called a range. Okay, now in 6 into 12 there are 6 into 2 there will be 12 elements. So I'll start from, let's say, 1 will end on 13. Okay, so you can see sorry, so this makes it 12 elements. From 1 it will 12. Now I will reshape into 6 comma 2. Okay, so it's became a 6 comma 2 matrix. So when I put this into a variable, okay, and if I find out the shape, now if I put s, and if I find out the shape, that is called np dot shape of this s. Okay, it's a 6 by 2 matrix. Understood, Raj Lakshmi? Hello. Great. So that's how you're gonna do that. And okay, so the next topic is that we're going to discuss is called Matplotlib. So before to start, let's have a break, and after the break, we're gonna discuss Matplotlib. Is it okay to all of you? Hello. Great. So I'm giving you around 15 to 20 minutes of break. So we'll start by 1 o'clock, and then we'll proceed. Okay. Thank you.
So I think the session is still we're still waiting for the faculty. He is not yet joined, I guess.
Hello, I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible, sir. Please.
Yes. So now we have a new topic that we're going to discuss, that is called Matplotlib Visualization. So let's start. Yeah. So before I start with visualization, let me tell you one thing. Why we required visualization? Okay. Right now you have seen, I have told you some mathematical advancement library that's going to be required to work with data, to manipulate your data from affected metrics. Okay, so you will see that when we're going to use Numpy, Visualization Library, Matplotlib, and with the help of pandas and all, how we can actually do analysis and all in our next class. But today I'll tell you visualization. So one thing that you need to understand, why we required visualization. As you know, right now in this scenario of like COVID-19, I'll give you an idea from this COVID-19 data set. So what is there? You can see that every day there are some cases are increasing, and as cases are increasing from this particular website, if you can see that on the basis of some data, there are some certain like as the cases increasing every day, you have some visualization of data. Every day it's a time series data, how the data is increasing, decreasing. So it will be easier for a person, those who want to believe in some graphs or visualization, or someone those who are not technical, someone who is not more interested in only data, you want to understand from some kind of effective visualization only. It helps in so many different places. Let's suppose you are working for an organization, for a business perspective, you are doing analysis for any business need, you are doing analysis for some let's say for forecasting of maintenance of your machineries or anything. You can implement this analysis and analytics at anywhere. So when we actually proceed with these kind of stuff, so we required visualization. Visualization required at every single point of time when you have data and you want to show something, your idea behind it. So let's talk now. So there are so many different types of library that's actually we gonna use, we can actually have in our industry, and we can also use. But I'll tell you Matplotlib. So why and how we select. So when we talk about visualization, it's all statistical process. Means you visualize some certain types of graphs. Like there are so many types of graphs, so you need to select one of them. Now the question come here: which kind of graph or chart we gonna select is totally depends on few certain things. So when you represent or present your data with some presentation of your visualization, there are four types of visualization, four types of presentation that is available that you can actually do with. That is called comparison data presentation, composition presentation, distribution of your data presentation, relationship between the data presentation. So these kind of different types of graphs you actually proceed with, you actually talk about. Now the question come here: which chart is best depend upon how many you know how many variables do we want to show in a single chart, how many data points we actually like to display on each variable. Okay, the question here is which chart is best depends upon. So how many variable do we want to show in a single chart? Second, how many data points we want to display on each variable? And third one is, do we want to display over a period of time or among items or group? So in these bases, we select our charts. Now, uh, these are the different types of charts that you can actually see here. Like, you know, when we talk about comparison, we have bar chart, column chart, line chart. So many comparison chart is here. When we talk about relationship between the data, you have a scatter plot. When you talk about distribution, you have histogram and others. When you talk about composition, you have pie plot and others as well as. So these are the charts that is present, and then we can actually draw. But the question is, what are the commonly used charts? So we'll discuss the commonly used chart, and the commonly used charts are, like scatter plot, histogram, bar and stack bar chart, box plot, pie chart, heat map. So these are the different types of plots that we do have in, that we commonly use basically. Okay, so we'll do one thing. First, we'll understand what are the available libraries for visualization. And the available popular libraries for visualization is Matplotlib, that is being used for, there are so many things that we can do. It's now became very powerful for visualization, and that's majorly used for visualization basically. And then you with integrate with pandas, matplotlib, and then you can also visualize. There is a statistical presentation library that is called cbon is also there. You can actually visualize ggplot. You can actually plot with plotly. So there are so many. Okay, so you can actually use. So we're gonna do one thing quickly. We'll understand what are the types of chart, and we can present and how we actually represent this. So I'm gonna do one thing. Let me initiate. So here, let's talk about how we can represent a chart. So first we will import our library that is called import matplotlib. Okay, in matplotlib there is a function called pie plot. So I will put here dot pie plot, and I'll use the whole thing as plt. So from Matplotlib, or the same thing you can also print like this: from Matplotlib, import pyplot as plt, or you can import like this also: import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Okay, so when I do import here, so I'll first I'll plot here a line plot. For this, whenever we plot, we require some axis. So let's suppose my axis is 4, 5, 6, and in y we have 7, 5, 4. Okay, I will represent here a line plot. So I will plot here plt dot plot, uh, that is called x y, and plt dot show means visualize. When I show plt.show and when I run this, you can see that I need to run for 2 times for the first time, and you can see that this plot has been plotted on the basis of their axis. Okay, did you understood? Great. Now what you have to do that you need to plot on the basis of some axis like this. You need to plot. I want you to plot with some coordinates like this. You need to print a rectangle. You know, you need to print a rectangle like this. So this is how we actually capable or can do this. Now you have to do this with some coordinates. Understood? In high resolution, sir, there is no option to import in high resolution. You can save this image. It will be on a very good resolution. I can actually save. Once you click and save the image at any place, you can actually save it. So for this, you need to use Tableau. Tableau is a software, or either you can use Power BI. Okay, so those are specifically meant for visualization. Or there are some certain libraries also, for high end. So you can actually check on it. Anyone done creating rectangle with coordinates? Show me a code.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you. So we want to. That's good. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Now, one thing I'll tell you. Let's suppose right now it's automatically taking the x and y, maximum and minimum. Like it started from 4 and on 5. It has started from uh, 5 and on 7 x and y. We can also limit this. So we can actually plot plt dot x limit, means the range of your axis, like how long you want this. So xlim will start from 0, will end, let's say, on 10. Okay, similarly you can also set the limit of plt dot y lim, same, 0 comma 10. And you can see that now, just because of this one, this is not now a rectangle, because it's means it's a enclosed one. Okay, so because I have taken from range of 0 till 10, let's suppose I take a range of let's say y is maximum 5, no, so I take this, let's say 6, maximum 6, and a range of this one is maximum, let's say it's also 8. Now it's also jump out, so y should be at least 8 also. Okay, and it should be, let's say, 5. So you can understand, like we can also set the limit. Okay, so let's suppose if I take this 10, and y limit is also I'm taking 10. Now if I want a rectangle in center, so center will be what, 2 point sorry, right now your range is something 10, so your should be, that is called 10 is 5, so this center should be 5, means it will start 2 and 8. I'm taking maximum 2 and 8. Okay, so let's suppose I am taking here x is 2 and y is, let's say, 8. Okay, then it will start 2 8, then the second one 2, sorry, 2 and 2, no, it will start from 2 and 2, and then it will go till 2 and now let's say 8. Okay, then um, it will go here on 8, so x will be on 8 and y will also on, sorry, x will be on 8 and y will also on 8. So yes, it's on 8 and this one also 8. Okay, then it should come here, so x will be on 8 and y will be on 2. X will be on 8 and y will be on 2, and then again 2 and 2. So when I run this, you can see that this is your um, your rectangle. One more thing you can do, that let's suppose you want to put this coordinate here, so let's say here I will put the marker is equal to, let's say, o, it's in asterisk o, so wherever it's having coordinate I'll put a scatter kind of stuff, so means it is, there is one coordinate here, one coordinate here, one coordinate here, one coordinate here. Okay, so this is what, or let's suppose you want to print here something, let's say plt dot text x comma y. Let's say and 2 comma 2. I'm trying to print if it's work. No, size is, let's say, 4. uh, right. Size is 4. Let's say okay. Okay, you can see that if I want to print anything on 2 comma 2, let's say if I want to print this, so you can see that I have print here y on 2 comma 2. So here let's suppose I want to print, if it can work, I hope. Okay, so this is 2 comma 2, means here I'm printing that it's a 2 comma 2. Similarly, I can put this text, means see what I have done, I have put here the x and y and whatever I want to print. So I want to print here 2 comma 2. So did you understood this, how to print any element anywhere? Yes, hello. This is a syntax, this is this is a syntax how we write it. We are printing here any element, no? I think there is one option of rotation. I'm not sure that rotation is, let's say, 90-degree. If it's work, yeah. So let's say I want to print here on 45-degree. Okay, you can see this. It is printing here. Let's say I want to print here on yeah. Let's say 30-degree. Huh? So 30. Let's say 180-degree. No, nice work. हम्म कितने पे वर्क करना चाहिए? लेट्स से 250. हाँ, 250 भी ज़्यादा हो गया नहीं? 135. Let's try. No. So as you rotate, no, it will rotate. This text will rotate. You can actually print on, let's say, 10-degree. No. So this is how it's gonna rotate accordingly. Then you can actually rotate and give this rotation accordingly. Understood, sir? Good. Now let's suppose, I hope we can also change the color equal to R. I'm not sure, but yeah, it should be. Yeah, so we can change the color of this text. This text color is, we have changed the text color as well as. Okay, so And this is what the text color we have changed. Similarly, if I want to change the color of this circle, this rectangle, so here when I print here marker over here, I can change CO color is equal to, let's say I want to give this green, so this became green. Okay, so here so here it's a green color. Okay, so it's a green color and it's a red color. Now let's suppose I want to print the label, means I want to print this label, means X label and Y label. We can also print here at plt dot X label is X, plt dot Y label is Y. So whatever I will write here, it will print X and Y. And I can also print plt dot called plt dot title. Title is, let's say the title name is rectangle. Let's say. So when I print the rectangle, so it gave me the rectangle name. Okay, so this is how we print this title as well. As understood this, all of you? Good. Now I'm gonna do one thing. Let's suppose um, I want, let's say what I print one more rectangle. Okay, its name is x2, x2 and y2. Let's decrease the coordinate 1, 1, 1, 1, 7, 1, 7, 7, 1, 1, 1. Okay, and here I do plt dot plot x2 comma y2 let's say. So you can see that, oh sorry, any doubt, anything we have done wrong, what we have done wrong. 2 8. Okay, here I need to put here 7. No, now it's gonna work. So here let's say 2 rectangle we got. Okay, now let's say this is a 2 rectangle. I want to label a legend. Okay, legend means it will depict like this is a rectangle 1 and this is a rectangle 2 here in a legend. Okay, how we do this? For here I will type here in all the plots, that is called label equal to, you know, let's say this is a blue color. No, blue rectangle, and this is a label equal to green rectangle. Okay, and then I will plot here legend, plt dot legend. You can see this, it will show you this legend with this here. Understood this? Hello. Okay, so this is a line plot. I hope you understood this. Now let's suppose uh, the same one in background I want to use any style. Okay, so first there are so many styles available. Like I will first import uh, I will from Matplotlib import style, background styles kind of. So here I'm using a style dot use the name. Right now I'm using a style is called ggplot. So when I use ggplot, you can see this. It's the graphical representation in background changes. Understood this? What is style? Hello? Hello? Yeah? Great. So similarly, there are so many other also, like dark background. Okay. So dark background is something like this. So is there an index which we can access now? What styles are available? Yes, Mr. Adiras Chakravarti, you can check it on Matplotlib. On Matplotlib website, you can actually, when you put here style dot available, I think it. So if you want to check what are the styles available, style available Matplotlib. Okay, so it will give you the documentation of Matplotlib styles here. So there are so many styles are available, and style sheet reference is here. So these other styles are available. Okay, for so many styles are there. Like it's a dark background, it's a fast, it's 538, it's ggplot right now, Gracel, Seaborn. These are all the styles. Okay, so there are so many styles. So these are the styles that you can actually go through. So I have used your dark background and ggplot. Similarly, you can actually go and check. Understood? Yeah. Now this is the dark background style I've used. Similarly, um, if I want to print the grid, this grid is off right now. So I can also on this grid that is called plt dot grid. That is make it true, and its color I want is sorry, see color I want is called K. So this grid K means black. You can see that this grid has been embarked, and it's printed the black color. If I want any other color called sky blue, cyan, any color I can put this here. Understood? Hello? So this is what about Matplotlib. Now there are so many others plot as well, as like, let's suppose if I talk about bar plot. So in bar plot you have, one is called position. Let's say you have a position called 1 2 3 comma 4 5, and one is height. So y is height. Okay, let's say I put this position and its height. Okay, means where the position will be. So one is, let's say, 10 20 30 40 comma 50. And when I print plt dot bar p comma h and plt dot show, so you can see that it's been plotted accordingly. Understood this? This is called plt dot plot. Now let's suppose here if I want to print anything on this coordinates, like, you know let's suppose you have to print here, let's say, and you have a name and you want to print here instead of numbers, you want to print like c c plus plus, you know python, then you have uh, sorry, php, ruby. So if you want to print this, okay, so you're gonna do one thing. You will tick plt dot x tick, means it will tick ticks, and on the position of p it will print call name. You can see that on the position of this 1 2 3 4 5 it will print this name. Understood? uh Now you're gonna do one thing. This is your bar plot. I've shared here. Similarly, I'm gonna do tell you call scatter plot. So scatter plot is nothing more than, let's suppose you have the same kind of stuff like x, you have some element called 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. Okay, and y you have 4 comma 2 comma 5 comma 6. Then when I plt dot scatter and when I do x comma y, okay, it will, I want to show you that by default it will print a scatter, but you can also change so many things. So it has printed the scatter plot, but if you want to change the size, okay, size is, let's say, 100, and the type of marker you are using right now is automatically takes O. But if you want to print here, instead of O you want to print this asterisk, so it will print asterisk. Okay, and you can see that the printed marker, this one, and size became 100. Okay, so this is how we print a scatter. We can also change color and this is your scatter plot. So did you understood this? Hello? Okay. So we have done so many things. If I'll tell you more than this, I hope you will not able to digest. So I'll request all of you, you just practice all the things that I have told you. And the assignment for tomorrow is that you all have to do is similarly, you have to create a bar graph of, in name, you will print all the state name like Delhi, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Bombay, matlab every state name, whatever the state name. And in height, you will print the cases, number of cases of COVID-19 patient. Okay. And you need to print a bar graph accordingly. Okay. So this is what you need to do, but it should be for every single state. Understood this? Hello? Did you understand my question? Okay. So this is your assignment. Now I want anyone will explain what we have done today. So anybody interested can unmute and then can see whatever we have done as of today in today's session. Size. Size. S means size. Now I want yesterday someone explained very well what we have concluded. So now if anyone would like to tell me what we have done, so you can unmute and tell everything. Hello. Mr. Ravindra ji, it's already shared the yesterday's video is in YouTube file in WhatsApp if you are on WhatsApp. Please, anyone would like to conclude what we have done today as someone discussed yesterday. So, you would like to speak? You can unmute and you can actually speak. Hello. No one willing to do that. So, do I consider you did not learn anything today? Yes? Shall I consider that you didn't learn anything today?
Okay, sir, I will speak.
Okay.
Okay, we have started this learning a different loop, for and while loop, and then after we have done some example of that for and while loop, and then we started this function. So some inbuilt function are already there, and we can define our function also. So some inbuilt function like Numpy we learned, and we have array to matrix conversion. We were doing that, how to do that, and then under that we have this. Just a minute.
So many functions we have done in that.
Yeah. So many functions we have done that under that. Okay. So that function was just a minute. Yeah, some function we have done under NumPy. Okay, and that add string and those things. Okay, and then after that this metro matplotlib. Okay, we were doing this example only.
Okay, so let me also conclude this. So in today's session, I have started with the basics of, what called while loop, for loop, and nested loop. I told you functions. I told you how you can actually create your own function as well as Then I started with numerical scientific calculation library, that is called Numpy. In Numpy, I told you multiple functions like creating an array, finding the size, shape, and
Yeah, yeah, yes, sir. Yeah,
yeah.
correct.
So other stuff like finding the addition, mean, median,
Yeah,
standard
yes.
deviation, and so many other statistical relationships. I told you you can create an from a range function how you can create a new matrix and p zeros and p ones, unique elements. So these all things we done. Then I told you also Matplotlib why we require you to use Matplotlib. There are four types of chart: composition, presentation, distribution. These kind of charts that we can create. There's so many charts. We discuss so many things in Matplotlib as of now. So yes, I hope you learned well and. So, did you learn something today also?
Yes,
Everyone?
sir. Yeah.
Good. So, I want you all should be that much energetic and enthusiastic towards your learning, whatever you are learning. And I'm trying my best to
Uh,
teach you.
I have
And
one query.
yes,
Here we in the this plot scatter or wherever we are doing this size. So this size is reflecting which one? Like X we have taken 2, 3, 4, 5. Y you have taken 4, 3, 5, 6. And then this plot is
it's a
between.
coordinate. It's like 2, 4. So, 2, 4 is where? 2 and 4 coordinates. It will embark over there something. Okay?
Okay, that's the first is the point where this is X is 2 and Y is 4,
4.
like
Yeah.
that. No, but what
Okay.
is this
Second is
size
3 and 3.
stand for?
You can
Yeah,
see
that I
3 and 3. Third is 4 and 5. So 4 and 5.
that I get it. I'm asking about this size. 100 you
Size is the
mentioned.
size of this scatter. Size. So if I size here
Okay, I get it.
1000,
Okay. Though it
okay,
will
so it became that much.
correspondingly increase and decrease.
Yeah.
Okay.
X
Fine.
tick is picking any, putting any element, string element on X axis. So when I do X tick, this name has been printed here. Okay.
I
So this is
yeah.
what.
And I have
So
one more query
yeah.
regarding this tomorrow assignment that we have to create a bar graph and we have to this name all the state of India and based on the number of COVID-19 cases.
Yeah.
That's the assignment.
You go and check the website of covid19.org, take the data from there. Okay. Create your,
That's the assignment.
yeah, that's all you need to create.
Okay.
The second thing,
Fine.
tomorrow and day after tomorrow, yeah, it's similar, quite similar to MATLAB, Mr. Aniket works. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, I think we don't have class. I'm shifting this to Monday and Tuesday. Is it okay to all of you?
It's fine with me.
Hello?
Yeah, it's fine.
Why, Mr. Everyone is fine?
Yeah.
Fine, all of you?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, okay then.
Have a good day.
Great. So you all will get video. Mr. Ravinder Singh, you please contact to Mr. Sir. Can you add it to Mr. Ravinder Singh?
Yeah, you all will be having my number. Anyone who is not in the group, just ping me. I'll add them. I get their number also.
Okay, okay, great.
They
So
might have registered with a different number. That is the reason.
of course. So please ask to Mr. Parashar ji, and he will add you, and you'll get the material as well as along with. Okay. Thank you for the session, all of you. It was a great experience
Thank you.
also for
Thank
today,
you.
and I hope you learned something.
Yeah, we learned.
Neural training. Sir, we are not on neural training right now. Thank you. Thanks a lot to all of you. Sir, you want to say anything to conclude?
I think candidates they seem fine for tomorrow, day after tomorrow. So again, we'll be postponing our class to what is that date? To Monday. I find each and every one of you to be okay with that. Anyone with an issue? I thought Adiraja was saying something. If I'm spelling it correctly. Yeah, Adrija. I think on Monday she's having some problem. Ma'am, can you manage? Because there's some. Hello, if you can unmute and you can just discuss with us.
Sir, actually, my mother has a surgery on Monday, so I can't do the class on Monday.
Okay, is it okay if we'll, if we will share you the whole session video?
Yes, sir, but if it can be on Tuesday and Wednesday, it's fine. Just the Monday, sir.
Okay.
So if it's a big problem, then it's okay. I'll get the video. It's all right.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Let's
ठीक है sir then.
put it on Monday.
Okay then, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We'll again resume on Monday.
Okay. Yeah.